Do you know your real hourly wage? Hello and welcome to today's video. The video is about how much dollar you actually earn per hour. Did you know that it's not just enough that you divide your net income by your number of monthly hours, but that there are many more costs behind your real hourly wage? For example, Jim's income of $4,000 in 40-hour weeks has an hourly wage of around $25. However, if he adds in commute time, car costs, coffee and lunch costs, and work clothes, his hourly wage looks different. Jim's daily commute is 45 minutes round trip, or 1.5 hours per day. For every 20 days worked per month, there are 30 hours of commuting time and 84 liters of gas. Per month, Jim pays about $160 for gas, $16 for coffee, $100 for lunch, and the equivalent of $20 for suits when he buys 2 new suits with shoes annually for $250. Jim earns about $3,700 per month if he subtracts the cost directly related to the job. Divided by 190 hours, this makes a real hourly wage of $19.50. That's a difference of a whopping $5.50 per hour. Thus, for a $25 dinner, Jim works not 1 hour, but 1.3 hours. First, you should generally calculate using your net pay, not your gross pay. This way, you have already accounted for all contributions and taxes, and calculate with the amount that is actually transferred to your account. If you have a fluctuating net income, for example due to sales contracts or similar, then you should calculate with your annual income. Divide your annual income by 12 months and calculate your average monthly income. The real working time per week depends on many factors, including the type of work, the number of days worked per week, and the number of hours worked per day. Generally, it is assumed that a working adult works on average of 40 hours per week. However, this does not include breaks and vacation days. If you work at a full-time job where you work 8 hours per day, every day, this means you work 40 hours per week. However, if you work only 3 or 4 days per week, you will work less than 40 hours. If you work 8 hours per day for 4 days per week, your real working hours per week will be 32 hours. 1. Calculate your monthly net income. Your net monthly income depends on several factors, including the amount of your gross income, deductions for taxes and Social Security, and other deductions your employer may charge. To calculate your exact net income, you need to know the exact amount of your gross income, your tax rate, and the deductions your employer collects. For this, you can simply take your transferred monthly income, but you should find out what contributions you have to make each month and whether you can reduce them. 2. Deduct your vacation days per year. To determine how many vacation days are deducted per year depends on which country you live in and which employer you have. In some countries and companies, you are granted a certain number of vacation days per year. In other countries and companies, you can determine how many vacation days you want to deduct per year. It is important to be aware of your employer's policies regarding vacation days before attempting to deduct them. You can also deduct earned overtime. You'll usually come up with a value between 24 to 32 days that you can deduct from your annual work hours. If you divide this value by 12, you have deducted your monthly days off. In return, you should add weekends that you work. 3. Calculate your real working time per week. Do you still sometimes write emails for work from home? It is important that you actually track your working time for some time. For this, you should download an app or write down on a piece of paper how much you actually work. If you have a job where you don't work a minute at home or on vacation, you can choose your actual working hours. But if you quickly finish the presentation for tomorrow at home and end up spending 2 to 3 hours at the computer, you should add this to your real working time. It takes monitoring over several weeks or months to get a real value. 4. Calculate additional times, such as travel time, conferences, phone calls or similar with colleagues or customers, which also take place after your actual working hours. Travel time. If you need to get to a client or other facility to complete your tasks, you need to include the time it takes to travel. Conferences. If you are working with others, you must schedule time to attend meetings and conferences. Phone calls. If you need to make phone calls to customers, other departments, or vendors, you need to schedule time to make those calls. Meetings. If you need to hold meetings with other people, you need to plan for the time it takes to prepare for those meetings and the actual meeting time. Administration. If you need to complete forms, invoices, or other administrative tasks, you must budget the time needed to complete them. 5. Price for purchases or expenses related to the work. This includes, for example, clothing that you bought specifically for work, food in the cafeteria that you would otherwise prepare yourself at home more cheaply, or the expensive laptop that provides the power for work. The price of purchases or expenses related to work depends on the individual case. There may be a single price or a package price for multiple items or services. For example, office supplies, tools, and software may be purchased for which a specific price is assessed. Transportation and travel costs can also play a role when it comes to the cost of work. The bottom line is that your real hourly wage is significantly less than you thought. Unfortunately, that's a surprise to most people. In order for Jim to buy $100 worth of new shoes, he has to work not 4 hours, but 5.1 hours. That's a big difference of over an hour of life, isn't it? Does Jim make a different decision now? Well, it depends. If Jim experiences great pleasure wearing the shoes, or the shoes last a long time in this quality, this is an expenditure he can make with a clear conscience, even as a frugal person. However, if it is the brand name that makes the shoe so expensive, and Jim has already lost the joy of the shoes the day after tomorrow, it is definitely not worth 5 hours of his lifetime to pay for them. Jim now has 2 choices in general: reduce his real hourly wage by increasing his real hourly wage, or adjust his spending to match his real hourly wage. Also, consider how much price savings you get from a part-time job. If you reduce your hours, you work less in real terms, but the fixed costs related to the work are often just as high as in a full-time job. You should calculate whether you won't make more money with freelance projects, such as working part-time minus expenses. This may be your decision to quit your job altogether and instead pursue only lucrative and fun side projects. Calculate your real hourly wage at all times, and always be aware of how much time objects or items you seem to absolutely have to have are actually costing you. Knowing your real hourly wage has many advantages for you. It helps you realize that you have control over your time and can decide how best to spend it. By setting your priorities, you can optimize your finances by trying to make more money while focusing your life energy on doing the things that really matter to you. It's about considering what kind of work is the best use of your resources. It's about thinking a little more consciously and critically about how you spend your time and what you want to accomplish in your life. Is it important to you to earn a good income to support yourself and your family? Then you might choose a career in a field you enjoy and can use your talents in. Or do you value more free time to spend with your family? Then perhaps you could start a part-time job or a business that allows you to work flexibly. In any case, It is important to find a balance between work and leisure, and to realize that you are exchanging your life energy, time, for money. By using your life energy for things that make you happy, you can live a more fulfilling life and create value for yourself and others. If you enjoyed the video, leave a thumbs up and subscribe to this channel to never miss any more videos. Thank you for your support.